welcome to Tampa Tailgaters, from the parking lot to the pit, episode 3.
And we are calling this one Teamwork. Yeah. This week, well, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So welcome to our 3rd episode. We are at the end of a 2-week long string of an insane number of concerts.
I think it was 13 concerts in 15 days when we get through this weekend. So it was one of those we didn't plan completely ahead the way we should have.
It always sounds really, really good in theory. And honestly, it was a blast. It was so much fun.
So many stories and good time.
So we're going to have a lot to kind of unpack today about kind of our experiences and things like that. So definitely looking forward to chatting about that. First, we want to go over some housekeeping. Again, please join us on WMTW-DB. You can get that on like an online box radio app or the TuneIn app. We will be there first on every other Wednesday. There could be
6 p.m. Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Yeah. And then Thursday, we'll make it available on pretty much anywhere you can get a podcast.
Yeah. YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, all that.
Yeah. And I know episode 2 did not have a recording on YouTube. I thought I hit record, but I did not. So glad that we got this recording to get back there. We get a lot of feedback that people like to see while they listen. So good deal. Also, another reminder, merchandise is available. Check out Instagram. I think it's a pinned post.
If not, I will pin one.
Yeah, we'll pin it. But yeah, so definitely they're pretty reasonable. They're made with love by yours truly. So I think that's all the housekeeping.
The non-fun stuff.
Yep.
All right, so we can just dive into what we've been doing since we, I guess, talked last. So we started out at the Hard Rock here in Tampa with Midland. They had it was all standing room only there. They took out all the seating for the way the Hard Rock camp is set up it's like a ballroom turned into a theater or an event center that they pull the seats out. So it was all standing. So we upgraded right at the last minute to be in the pit and was second row to the center stage, second row. So great setup, great location.
Yeah, I think one of the things I found out that I didn't know existed, but apparently Ticketmaster has an exchange policy. So if there is an event or something like that doesn't sell out, and as you start looking, you notice that there are some tickets that may be better than yours, they will do like an upgrade / exchange for $10 a ticket or something. So that's what I did because it wasn't.
That's one of those secrets I don't know if we wanted to really give out. But we're gonna.
I don't know that it works all the time because you do have to give it a little bit of time. Hold on. You have to do like I think the minimum is 24 hours beforehand, so you can't just walk into the box office. Yeah. So, we have the dogs joining us today. So, so some highlights from that show. Yeah. What did you think of it?
So going into the opener was Pug Johnson.
Yep.
Honestly, I'd never heard of him, didn't know anything about him. Put on an incredible show, like just soulful, bluesy folk. He's just really, really good. So check out Pug Johnson on any of your streaming platforms. On
very
socials.
Surprised.
Then we got to meet him afterwards and talk for a little bit. Him and his band, just great individuals. Just you can tell genuine. Big fans of him.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of the cool thing about these concerts. And I did get Cameron Duddy, one of the band members of Midland, did sign my hat. And then Pug Johnson.
Was that the only thing I think that signed?
I think it's the only thing that got signed. Yeah, but we got my hat signed by Cameron Duddy, and Pug ended up signing it too.
Yeah, Midland put on a great show. They're just their energy and the whole vibe they set is just it's their style, and it's fun to watch. Thought they did a great job. The crowd loved it.
I think probably their biggest song, or what they're most known for, is Drinking Problem.
Yeah.
Great line, right? Everybody says I have a drinking problem, but I got no problem drinking at all.
Exactly.
So, that was a great show.
So then we followed that up the next night at the local Dallas Bull with Braxton Keith, which It was the first planned giveaway that we did with the Dallas Bull in partnership with them. We had given away 5 sets of tickets to the Dallas Bull for that show. We got to go early, do some tailgating there, and met up with everybody that had won tickets, and we all hung out for the night. And Zach Meadows opened, and Braxton was the second carrier. We actually got to see him during the day. He came out when we were tailgating beforehand.
Yeah.
He was having some DoorDash delivery and came out with his dog and said hi, and we got to visit for a few minutes.
Of course, I immediately went to the dog.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Jen and Maddie went bypassed him and went to the dog, and oh yeah, you're
so
important
cute.
too.
So cute. It was really, really cool to hang out with some of our followers and win the giveaways. They ended up coming over and really hanging with us the entire time. So it was really cool. And one of the people that ended up winning a set of the tickets and that actually joined us at the tailgate was Paisley Howell. So
Paisley is a local artist here in this area. That she was
well, she's from the
originally the Panhandle of Florida. She lives
Panhandle.
down here now. Does a lot of the local dive bars and music venues.
our favorite bar, the Hippie.
Here, yes, that's all Hippie, one of our favorites.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite local artists out there. I'm a fan of anyone with a raspy voice. I just like that. She has this Janis Joplin recreated in a younger 24-year-old, I think, something like that.
Yeah, she's
so check out Paisley Howell on TikTok. Instagram.
she wasn't she on American Idol or The Voice?
Yeah, she was on American Idol.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to say 2020, somewhere right around there.
Maybe.
I'd have to confirm to make.
Yeah, we would have to look into that. Don't
she's
want to
amazing.
throw fake information out there, but you can definitely find her out there on all the streaming services.
Yeah.
She's really great. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. She does some really great covers. I know her favorite Braxton Keith song is "Fall This Way," and I know we were pulling to get a duet going with her and Braxton. But that didn't work. But yeah, Braxton was great. He has a really cool, soulful voice.
Yeah.
Really commands the room, and I'm telling you, that place was packed.
Yeah, it was. Everybody was trying to get that. It was definitely, he brought out the crowd for it.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then on Sunday, the 23rd, we went to see the Queen, Kelsey Ballerini, at Hard Rock Hollywood.
The funny thing about that was she was here Saturday night in Tampa. We bypassed that to travel down to Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood to see her there because we love that venue. It's a more intimate show. I think there's 7,000 people in it, something like that. So there, because Maddie wanted to be first in line, center tee.
Yes. We got there way too
I think we got there about 9ish in the morning.
9ish,
but we line dated all day, and it's inside the Hard Rock, so you have it's in the AC. There's a bar right next to it. You can order food. We ordered pizza from the local venue.
Yeah.
And made new friends, hung out with people, got to see some of the industry people we know that sweetest and genuine as can be.
And the cool thing about Hard Rock Hollywood that I was gonna say is it's really one way in, one way out, the band members and Marin Taylor, who is one of the openers for Kelsey, we saw her walk by several times.
And she stopped and
and talked to us. We got to interact with her because it's just that is cool that while we're line dating, we get to see all these different people and interact. But it does make for a long day. But I think the waiting and the payout was perfect. We were first in line. We were the very first people to enter into the pit, and we chose dead center, front of the tee.
We got a reel on Instagram where it's Maddie and Braden walking through with Angela, one of the workers there with Kelsey's team, that walked right up the thing, and she's the very first one to get her spot. It was really cool.
Yeah. The one thing that was kind of I say a bummer just because I heard so many things about her production and setup in Tampa was that Miami, because it is such a smaller venue, they couldn't bring everything. So the stage was smaller. They didn't have all of the theatrics, I guess you would say. So we missed out a little bit on that by going there instead of Tampa. But I think it was made up for with that intimate show. And we did get, a lot of good interaction with Kelsey. And Maddie fangirled the entire time.
I think everybody
I think maybe you did too.
Maybe a little. I mean, hey, we were 3 feet from her for most of the show.
Yeah.
But the production she put on there, she called it her girls' night out.
Yeah.
Had Marin as the opener, who is
so good.
True country.
Yes.
Sweet, bubbly personality. True country music with a little bit of, definitely up tempo, but true country. And then the middle opener was.
Well, wait. Go check out Marin's song "Same Girl Same."
Yeah, it came out a week ago.
So good. Well, it's been out for a couple. I mean, Kelsey was.
I guess that was a few weeks ago. So.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago. But "Same Girl Same." Maybe we should tag it when we post the description. Yeah. Go ahead.
And then the second tier artist I had never heard of, Ash, ASHE Ash, came out and she wowed the crowd. Like, she is a very theatric type performer.
Yes.
Like, she is almost like ballet trained movements and
like
vocalizing.
Think of her as a girl's girl. Like she's confident, she's beautiful, and she knows it, and she dances, and she feels.
She personally reminds me of some of Grace Potter and her
a little bit
her notes that she can hit. She's definitely one I'd recommend checking out again. I think on her socials is Ash Music, ASHE Ash Music.
And what's funny about that is Maddie didn't even know that she knew, but like three of her songs. So I think her big song, "Moral of the Story," was a TikTok sound or something like that. You know how so many songs.
That happens a lot with Maddie.
Happens a lot. Maddie knows everything from TikTok. So she was like, this is her song?
Yeah, she didn't know it was hers.
And it's funny, she says she had that song on her favorite. So that both of them were such a nice surprise. And I know even Kelsey mentioned it was like she loved having all these women, like a strong female presence on tour.
Yeah.
It was just all blonde women.
Yeah.
And they were all so good.
It was and then she did a cover of Taylor Swift on part of the thing, and
Love Story.
And the entire arena of everyone sang along with that no karaoke style. It was powerful.
I felt like that a lot of people did that for Kelsey, like just on all of her.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a sing along through.
Yeah.
One of the funny things and I didn't know this because I hadn't really been paying attention to it, but Maddie said it was a thing. Anyone who knows Kelsey knows Penthouse. After her, 3 or 4 years ago, for something like that, she went through the divorce, everything like that. So a lot of the crowd likes to, yell a vulgar phrase, and Morgan, who
calls his name out,
and she stopped the crowd. She's like, guys, we've got to stop doing that. Like, it's 3 years. This song is for you all now, not him. Like, move on. So if anybody's hearing this and they're gonna go to a show and you have any thought of doing that, it's obviously a trigger for Kelsey of, move on from this. She's past it. She's went through therapy, like she says, and grown.
Well, I think it's the song, she wrote it as part of her therapy, and when she wrote it, she probably wasn't in the same mindset. No, she says. And now she's in that healed version, and so she's kind of like, she's happy. They want to see each other be good and move on. But it was really and I think there have been several articles and videos that have kind of surfaced and being covered by some of the country articles about how she stopped, and she's like, look, you got to stop doing this. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you can probably Google it, Kelsey Stops concert. But it was actually during the encore. The Penthouse song was.
It's unfortunate. I don't know if it's going to stop. Like, because you're always going to have somebody who thinks it's funny to yell out in the crowd, and it's hopefully it does, and hopefully the fans respect her enough to move on from that. But just wanted to, she made a comment about like spreading the word. So we want to
spread the
do
word.
our part. If anybody hears it, just move on from that.
Well, and what's funny is I was so oblivious. I didn't even know that was a thing people did.
Maddie told me when it happened.
I was just chanting like the parts of, the powerful parts of, I don't care where you sleeping, baby, and all that stuff. But apparently when she talks about it stings knowing you got half, that's when they, started screaming that. So it was interesting, but.
So that brings up, we're going to go to the next concert we went to, and there's a topic there I want to get into on. So we came back. That was a Sunday. Drove back to Lauderdale. Tuesday we hit Janice Live, which is an outdoor venue in downtown St. Pete that
all general admission.
They put on a couple hundred concerts a year, all genres. But it was all general admission. And we had really good spots. We knew some people that we had met at our Bryce Keith show and stuff. They were over the little bit of angle of the stage. But there was the poster comp. The poster is okay. Let's go posters at a concert. And I'm going to put a poll up on our socials to kind of get an opinion of this.
I am interested in how
on what people think, because I don't mind posters if if you've got something you want to share with the artist and the moment presents itself and you can put it up in that moment because the artist is near you and they're able to see it and move on. But you always have people who, one, make a poster that's entirely too large and they want to hold it up and they're in the front. I mean, here's the thing. They got there first, they're in the front. You know what? Give you credit. I got it. But holding it up the entire concert and blocking 50 people behind it that paid an admission also, I think you got to be a little more respectful and not really, kind of choose your battles, right? Like choose your time to put it out there and show it. That's my opinion of the matter. But I'm curious to see what most people think.
I am interested just to hear what our listeners and stuff think, because like I've seen lots of posters that are on those like rolled out dry erase things, the scroll type things where it's kind of closed and then you can open it intentionally. Some people even use like not the full poster, like the one we're referring to was a full.
The one you use for your middle school project,
full blown poster. I saw people that bring like the ones that are a little bit bigger than like a sheet of paper. Or where and most people I feel like are for the most part are good about putting it up and then putting it up and down, which is good. And if you're on the rail and things like that, sometimes you can hang it kind of on the rail where it's still visible. But anyway, I think we should poll just to see kind of what,
because we can go around over that all day long.
But I do want to hit back on Alexander K. So the opener was a guy named Logan Crosby. I had never heard his music before. But again, another really good surprise. So maybe we should have titled this about openers or something. Because we've had such great openers this time. But Logan Crosby was really great. I think he just put a brand new song out, Don't Have To. I hope I'm not butchering that. I'm going off memory because I did not put that in my notes. But we posted it on our Instagram. But he's really great. We got to go meet and talk to him back at the merch table afterwards.
His crowd interactions funny while he's performing. He had great interactions and then really nice and genuine when you met him there. So it's good afterwards.
And then Alexandra K. I mean, what a great voice.
To see how. So that was probably the fourth time we've seen her. I think. We saw her.
But they were all openers, right?
We discovered her just like so many did on her coffee talk, her TikTok coffee making, where. I think what really threw her off, she was getting a growing, was when Tim McGraw.
He found her.
He found her on there and they did like a duet and shared it all, and then he brought her on tour with her and Brandon.
I can't think of his last name.
My mind's blanking.
Wasn't Lay, was it?
No, but we'll have to move on from that.
Move on.
But brought them all together, and then we saw her, and then we've seen her open a few other times. But to see her headline with her production, her band, her crew, you can tell she's just out.
She's another one that so I know we talked a little bit last time. She was an independent artist, and then recently got signed. But you could tell like she is her. It's almost like, I won't say it's Taylor Swift, at that level, but she has some true followers, and they know every song, even the deep cuts. And they sang every word. I knew, we know certain songs, I'll say, but I don't know the deep cuts. But she's one of those that, similar to Kelsey, used songwriting and music to help her through a divorce and a tough time in her life. And some really great songs that people really resonate with came out of it.
And now she's found happiness. She's been, I think, with her guitar player for 2 years now, so she's found happiness there. Which is good. You just want to see,
it's awesome.
When they had to play their life out.
They did like a really sweet song together.
They said together, it was good.
Can't think of the name of it either. It's something about wind. See, I should write these things down because I can't remember, but it was so sweet. It was funny because they were singing and like they had this really like intense eye contact, and this one girl that was standing beside me, she was like, she is really staring that guitar player down.
Yeah, she didn't
And I was
know.
like, that's her man. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. So just really had a blast. I know it's a Tuesday night. We don't love to go to concerts on weeknights just because we have work and it can be tiring, but it was definitely worth to go out on this
It was a good time.
Yeah.
So then we took a day off, and after that we started here in Florida, or in local areas, Plant City is the Florida Strawberry Festival, which is a 2 week or so event that has a huge concert set up that they have dual shows, afternoon and night.
I have some free shows.
Some free shows for 2 weeks, but we started that night with Nate Smith, who was the headliner of the opening night of it, and that was great. We've seen Nate before, and him being a headliner. He was actually flew out the next day to Europe for his European Labels tour, but we were going to that show, heading to it. We spent the day at the festival, and we were going to it, and we had some seats that were 15 rows back or so. I'm just throwing out a number somewhere in there. And Braden and his buddy discovered that there was two.
No.
Well, Jim discovered it for them. There was 2 tickets that somehow came available. They were held for the people that got returned back. Anyways, the center of the tee, right in front of it, 2 seats. So Braden
right in front.
and his buddy Logan got that. So he had some amazing content interaction with Nate for that show, which was great.
Yeah,
so
selfie?
Yeah, selfie. After the show, when he came down in the crowd and was walking during the set. And then I got to meet Nate and get a set list signed at the end of the night. But I'll back it up a little bit. So because Braden and she found that and Braden bought them, we ended up having 2 tickets available that were with us last minute. So we're like, we don't want these to go to waste. So there's a ton of people that come to this festival that do not go to the concert. They're just there for, there's rides and booths and animal exhibits. And
I think it's probably like a state fair. Because
similar to state fair.
Like the school districts give a day off school for it. Like it's a big deal.
So Braden had the idea that he put on his phone, first person to sing me Nate Smith lyrics when I set tickets for tonight's show. And he stood out in the middle of the crowd there and waited. And then this girl came up, her and her mom, and she
Googled.
Yeah, she goes, wait a minute, there's no rules, so can I Google?
Rule.
So she pulled them up and she kind of sang it along. So they won it and they came in. We saw them that night. They were.
Oh, and they jammed the whole night.
They loved it. So it was like a good way for us we don't want something to go to waste, so let's find someone that can use them.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good time.
And we got a shout out.
So our local radio station here, US 103.5, is there's a few stations in the area, but they are the country station in the market.
Yeah.
Of the whole area, and we've become pretty good friends with some of the DJs there.
Yeah.
Scotty Davis, who's been all over the U.S. in some big markets, is the DJ. So, anyways, we were talking about it, but I didn't know he was doing it. He came out on the stage and he was introducing Nate Smith. So, in the whole crowd, full of people, he gave our Tampa Tailgaters a shout out to everyone there.
And he spotted Braden wearing the shirt, and he's like, "Oh, Tampa Tailgaters in the house."
That was always a cool plug. It makes it kind of cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I think, so Nate Smith, I just want to kind of talk about him a little bit because, like, we've seen him open. He is probably one of the most appreciative, humble artists.
Such a good dude.
Oh, he's so nice, such a good dude. He got, security was very upset.
Yeah, they were not
with him after the concert because he came down and he was talking to everybody, signing. I mean,
he says, "Don't go anywhere. I'm coming off the stage until they kick me out to shake hands and sign stuff." So
I think he was there at least 30 to 45 minutes after.
Yeah. And
the security, the sheriff's department was not happy with him, and that's kind of how Chris ended up kind of, sneaking in there.
But even in that moment, he's trying to make his way down. I was watching there was a pregnant couple that were 2 down. He stopped to talk to them about what their name was and just genuinely cared. And then when he got down to me, he was like, he wanted to talk. He was like talking about Tampa Tailgaters and stuff because he'd seen our stuff from where we tagged him in post. And he wants to sit there and have a conversation. But I'm like, I know you got to go. Other people got to see stuff. But he's in that moment and treats every fan as if they're the only fan there. And that's to me that's a superstar in the making. That's someone who's going to.
And I don't know. I hope that doesn't ever change. I don't think it will. Yeah. He'll always remember kind of where he came from. He had a little bit of some trauma. You know, his town burned down, and he had
Paradise, California. He lost his house in just all his personal belongings in a fire.
He lived in his car for a while when he came to Nashville. So like he's been through it, so he really appreciates like the success. And that man can sing.
He actually came to Nashville. It didn't work out. Went back home, and then when he was younger, and he came back. I think when he was 30. I think it was 30 when he said, and then that's when it was right. So for him, he's like, he really appreciates because he's seen it when it didn't work in Nashville, and then
it's all about the timing.
Pieces came together.
Yeah, he did a lot of. My favorite song of his is "World on Fire," which I think is his big song. But I know we were outside the gate and he was sound checking his new song with Hardy, "Nobody Likes Your Girlfriend." So Braden was like so
really
excited because it had just came out. It would have been the first time he sang it live. Like Braden wanted, but he didn't end up singing it. He sang it the first night on his European tour. So Braden was kind of bummed about that. But what a great way to kick off the Strawberry Fest.
Oh yeah, it was great. That was a Thursday night.
And then
we had the fun idea to the next day, Friday, we doubled up concerts there. So it was 90s throwback country at its
90s
best.
country day.
The first show was Roots and Boots, which is a touring show of Sammy Kershaw, Aaron Tippin, and Colin Ray. And they come out and they do stuff together. They each do individual stuff. They do some covers.
Yeah.
It was so cool getting to see these guys that are, they're all mid, late 60s now and are still putting on a great show. I would say Aaron Tippin has more energy and more stage presence than
that guy.
Some of the 20-year-olds you see out on the road. Like
Yes.
And of course when he does Stars and Stripes.
So I have to tell a story about Stars and Stripes. So he starts singing that song, and of course he does this kind of like big deal about how he gets the guitar out of the case. It's not even like hooked up to anything, but he has it and he's like strumming on it, but it's an American flag, and he's singing Stars and Stripes, and this veteran, this older man who's in a scooter, a motorized scooter, stands up. You could tell it was like tough for him. Stands up and salutes.
And stood there the entire song.
It wasn't the entire song, but it was a good while. Like he stood up there, and it was like I have chills just thinking of it. Like it was such a really cool moment of. I think Aaron Tippin's always been known for being super patriotic.
He is.
But that was really a really cool moment. It was. I think I have that on video. I'm not trying to get you all to look, but I have it on Instagram and TikTok because I thought it was such a really cool moment. But Sammy Kershaw, he's from Louisiana, and I don't think I'd ever heard him talk before.
Yeah,
but he
has the Cajun.
He's got that Cajun molasses drawl, and I was like, oh, I don't think I realized he had that.
He was having a little trouble because he still sounded great, but he had a little trouble on some of the sore throat because he hadn't been able to talk for a week because they're burning sugarcane in southeast Louisiana, and the smoke, he just hasn't been able to sing. But all three of them put on a great show.
Yeah, it was really a nostalgic. So you heard they each sang, I think, 5 songs, and of course we knew all of them because they were their hits.
Maddie was with us, and she wasn't expecting to know anything. She knew every song they played. She's like,
oh yeah. So it was really cool. By the way, plug for us for making our kids know these country because it was the best era of country music.
We came out of that show and had a couple hours of, went around.
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs and stuff. And then we had the show Friday night.
Miss Reba McEntire, the queen. Maddie calls her the ginger queen.
Yeah.
Her ginger queen. I won't say it was a dream come true, but it was definitely a bucket list concert.
Yeah.
Of somebody I've always wanted to see. That woman just commands the stage. Her presence.
Her stage presence, her comedy.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
She was also, I think, a little bit sick, but I couldn't tell. I thought she sounded great.
Yeah.
Hearing all the different songs through her career, like from the very first number one. Yeah. She'd been in the business for 50 years.
Yeah, this is her 50th year in the
She was
business.
celebrating 50 years. How do you even create a set list?
Yeah, that's how do you narrow that down to
An hour and a half,
Yeah,
I think she played.
Yeah,
it was crazy,
you
but
could
she
never
did,
do all that. Yeah.
and we did get to hear a couple of the songs from her TV show. Oh, Cheyenne from the Reba show was there.
Joanna
Garcia Swisher.
Yeah, who is Cheyenne from the original Reba show, is married to former baseball player who is with the Yankees. So the Yankees are in our area as their spring training established. Steinbrenner Field, everything's here. So they live here. She's originally from here, and they have a house in Georgia, but they're here right now is what I'm saying. So she was there that night. So a few people we know.
What was really funny is I was standing waiting, like they had gone. I was standing kind of sort of towards the front gate, and they were getting a corn dog and water or whatever, maybe bathroom break, I don't know. But I was standing there and I saw her walk by, and I was like, "That's Cheyenne." So I literally immediately was like, "I just saw Cheyenne." It was, of course, I'm not gonna go chase her down, but it was really cool to see her. Yeah. She's so pretty, and Reba did, call her out while she was singing this "I'm a Survivor" song, which is the theme song of the Reba song. So it was really, really cool. But
totally not music related. I did not know. So Reba said that she went out when her agent called her and she flew out to LA to audition for the now Reba show. It was for a show called Sally.
Yeah.
And I guess once she got it, someone had the genius idea. You know what?
To rename it.
Let's call it Reba. So I don't know how it all went out. That was a.
I don't either. I was thinking only Reba could go to an audition for a show that was named for another woman, and make it called her name. So, but yes, it was great. We heard some of the most iconic songs, like "The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia," and of course, "Fancy." Just so good.
That was she put on a great show. Just the hits all the way through, and her crowd interaction was great.
We had we sang along the entire time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So that was Friday night. Saturday
we got up and drove down to Naples.
How long of a drive was that?
3.5 hours. 3 hours. Something like that.
Yeah.
Depending on traffic. But there was a festival being held down there called Country Jam Naples. That it's the first year they put that on at a new at the Paradise Sports Complex.
Paradise Coast
Sports Complex there.
Yep.
Beautiful venue. It's where their local FC or one of the level soccer clubs is.
Yeah.
Parks right beside the Great Wolf Lodge there. Just a great, cool place. But we went down there to see Justin Moore headline with Walker Montgomery before him, and then a new up-and-comer kind of like country rapper, not...
Yeah, I enjoyed him. I thought he was very entertaining.
Jay Webb, who
not really my thing.
Yeah.
But I won't say that he was bad. He had a lot of energy.
A lot of people were there for him. It was a different style.
Exactly. It was a different style. I would definitely check him out. He has a lot of songs out there. I mean, he played a hour and 15-minute set, and I think he only did a couple of covers. So, but then Walker Montgomery.
Yeah, Walker Montgomery is the son of John Michael Montgomery.
And the nephew of Eddie Montgomery, of Montgomery Gentry.
Exactly.
He was one of those, like, good old boys.
Yeah, he just, true country boy, heart from heart. It's funny because they had a picture on the screen of him that, like, was very...
looked
like he was like 17, popish, like the head, not what he looked like now. So we were all having a good laugh at that. But he put on an amazing show. He covers a lot of his dad's material too, which is so cool to hear. I mean, just genuine. He did. We always loved him. One of Maddie's favorite songs, "Should Have Been a Cowboy," of Toby Keith, and we always, everyone wants to cover that, from your bars in Nashville to your beach bars to the big guys. Like, everyone covers that at some point. And he probably, in my opinion, had the most genuine or close to Toby Keith version and sound that I've ever heard of a cover done of it. It's still not Toby, and nothing like Toby on the original song, but I was really impressed with that. He put on a great show.
No, he did, and he's from Kentucky.
Yeah, he's originally from Kentucky, so we got to talk to him. I could show him, get a picture, and talk a little bit about coming from Kentucky and where we are now.
But I have to say, I don't think he He said he went to UK for what, 8 weeks, he said?
Yeah.
He only went 8 weeks and decided to go to Nashville.
But he wrote his first song that got him his start while he was there in those 8 weeks.
So in 8 weeks, and I don't feel like he's a true UK fan, because when we talked to him, he said that he's a fan of any sports team in Kentucky, and I know
just not anybody else in the SEC.
I know my UK fans, and that is not how they roll. They're not going to be a Louisville fan and a UK fan. But no, he was really nice. We got to meet him and talk to him a little bit afterwards, get our picture and all that stuff. But he was really good.
And then Jen and I have seen Justin Moore a couple times throughout the years, but neither one of the kids ever had.
Well, because the last time we saw him was in like 2013.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Because he took some time off, I think, to raise his kids with. And I'm a big Justin Moore fan. I love his style, love his music. I did not realize until so Cowboy Troy of Big and Rich fame and was the MC for the night. And when he was out, he mentioned that Justin had 13 #1 hits, and I just didn't realize that. I would have lost that trivia question. Like, I knew he had a ton, but I didn't know. But 13's a lot, and I was just surprised with it. But he came out, of course, and hit after hit after hit, just put on a great performance. Just the same way I remember him seeing. Like, what you're getting with him. Just a good country. He sounds the same in person that he does on the record. There's no auto-tune. There's no backtracks working with it.
I'm trying to think.
He is just there in the moment and rocking.
His songs like Backwoods, it's like really rocking. What are the other rocking songs?
Just all of them. Like, he put on, start to finish, he did everything. The funny thing we all kind of made a joke about is, and this has been a thing you've heard in the industry or in internet and stuff, like, because he is a shorter stature dude, like, but all of his songs are about throwing down, fighting, and just not putting up with anything, and it's so funny to watch. And you look at him, you're like, what? He's spunky.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite song of his of all time is The Ones That Didn't Make It Back Home.
Yeah.
Such a good song. I know that's not like a upbeat song, but it hits so true. It's talking about something so simple, like a barbecue that people, like, somebody didn't make it home to.
Well, just in the respect of giving it all for your country is it's huge.
Yeah. So it was great. I think the kids were big fans.
Yeah, he came out with Beta Hook, and Braden was loving that right off the bat.
That's always
and
a
rode
good
through
one.
them all.
Beta Hook is a good one. Yeah. And he did sing, I think his song, his newest song is This Is My Dirt.
Yeah,
he just recently released a new album called This Is My Dirt, and he played the title track from that, and it was good. That's a good song. It reminds me a lot of kind of that dirt cheap of kind of people coming in trying to buy land, but this is mine, and you're not, you can't buy it with money. So
can't put a price on that.
No.
So next was for Braden was the big one of his week.
This was Sunday.
Yeah. So the next day, Sunday, we stayed. We drove back after the Naples show, and then came back to the house, and then we got up midday Sunday and went back to the Strawberry Festival.
Yep.
For the headlining show that night of Bailey Zimmerman. And Bailey he's a showman.
And let's talk about that a little bit, because the Strawberry Festival upgraded their stage this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit outdated. It was a structure.
Traditional. They've been using it
for years. So they upgraded it to basically a big, I guess it's
your stadium setup.
Stage.
The big screens and all that.
And they had the same one for every artist. Basically, it was like, here's the stage every artist is going to use. Well, Bailey said no to that. Apparently, he brought in his own stage. It had like 2 extra little T's on the side, and it was white. He put white carpet down.
It was cool. Like the whole view. It was the first. Where you're going with this? I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
It was the first show at the Strawberry Festival from what we were told and understand.
Yeah.
To ever have pyro. So he brought the pyro, the sparks, the smoke,
the fog,
the full-on show that you expect from a high-energy, ADD individual. And I make that joke because he jokes about it, like, he gets sidetracked. But so Braden, we'll go back to him. Mm-hmm. We originally had seats. Well, day of, some people we knew,
one of our followers
that we've met and everything, sent a message. I guess someone she was in line with had an extra pit ticket. So Braden ended up buying that. Long story short, he was right next to the tee, right next to Bailey for for most of the show, all this stuff. So that took his show and his person and just
whole another level.
Yeah.
It was really cool because he was in the pit getting content for us. And I'm in the bleachers, getting it from the full scale view. So we kind of got some really great content.
That's the teamwork right there.
From both. Yeah. So that's part of the teamwork. Absolutely.
Yeah. Allows you to get both views. We split up to where we get coverage on everything.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the cool things about is, I don't know how many times we've mentioned his name, but Graylin James, our favorite songwriter, wrote one of Bailey's songs, Get to Getting Gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool to hear we've heard Graylin sing it, but it was really cool to hear Bailey, who made it a hit, also sing it live in concert. So that was really, really cool. And scored a set list, which I don't know if I've even brought that up, but I guess you could probably tell from
you watch on YouTube, you can see on the video wall there's set lists and signs. And
I tend to collect set lists. I'm a collector of things, but set list is one of the things I collect. So very excited when I can score a set list, which this weekend we were able to do quite a bit, several times. Very lucky, very excited about that.
Nathan got his sign, a few others.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip past that because we're gonna be to my highlight. My personal highlight of the whole run was we're filming this or recording this on
Tuesday
night, and we just got back recently from Strawberry Festival again for Sarah Evans. So I've been a huge Sarah Evans fan since probably 12. I'll say 12. When she first came out with Suds in the Bucket and everything like that, and just anyways. So we through in and out of Nashville, we met the owner and the CEO of Social Spark in Nashville. That she's starting up and functioning there as it's a social media influencer, promoter, teaching people how to use their social pages to the best level. And she also works with Whiskey Jam in Nashville, promoting some of their stuff there for them. But she also works for Sarah Evans on the road. So we got to see her when Sarah was in town last year. Fun. So we sent her a message. Hey, are you going to be down in Tampa? We're going to be at the show. Love to say hi. So she surprised today with got us meet and greets for Sarah at least the show. So we got to go out and I got to see my childhood crush in person.
Yeah, I think she did a couple extra push-ups this morning.
That's what I was getting my jokes from the family while I was at the gym.
Well, we're in line for meet and greets. He wouldn't go first. He made me go first. So I go first. She was so sweet. And you could tell she's a seasoned artist because she immediately was like, what am I signing? Right? Like she was reaching forward, signing stuff. And so we get a picture and I kind of, leaned in and I was like, he's trying to play it cool, but you're one of his favorites. And she was like, don't play it cool.
Yeah, she was
just tell me. She was so sweet, so funny. So yeah, Chris got a picture with her all by himself. We'll post that soon.
Yeah.
But he was very...
I haven't seen the picture yet.
He's very, very happy today. He got to see his childhood crush. And she put on a great show as always. She has really great ballads she played. She has I did not know this, but she said that she's been singing in bars since she was 6 years old, doing cover songs with her family. She comes from a really large family.
Yeah. I think 4 older brothers and 3 younger sisters. That's off memory.
Yes, I think it's something like that. But she is very, very large family, and they're all kind of like musically talented. So the parents put them to work. She told us, she's like, I was in bars till 1 a.m. at the age of 6. I was like, okay. So she knows lots of cover songs. So she did like a whole album of cover songs. But yeah, great energy. Great.
I do feel like I need to clarify. You've said a few times childhood crush. I would like to say it's still adult crush too.
My bad.
We're going to continue on with it.
My bad. I don't want to get that wrong.
I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Yes. Which, let's just think about this though. Sarah is very, very much a brunette. I'm not.
I think you're overthinking. Let's move on.
Okay, moving on. But anyway, Great day, great time. Those are
Yes.
that. So that we have come to the end of our concert recap. So that was an insane number of concerts. We don't normally do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes our schedules and like what's in town. The Strawberry Fest, I think, made it a little bit more busy because they bring in so many
Yeah.
different acts, and it's so close to us. It just gives us the opportunity to see a lot of artists pretty close. So we're not normally doing that many at
That was a lot
in one
of
time. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
And this last few podcasts have been kind of like a recap of a lot of shows, which we want to bring everyone along with and talk about the shows because it's like you get a little bit of tidbit of all the artists. But we've got some cool things in the works.
Well, we're gonna talk about those later.
Okay.
So follow the script that I wrote.
I see that. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So the look ahead. So looking forward, we just went through all the concerts that we've been through. We've got what I try to do is do like a 2-week look ahead to where so you all kind of have an idea of who we're gonna see between now and the next time we talk to you. But
Before you go here, the 2 shows you're going to announce next cannot be any more of the polar opposites than what they are.
I know.
So go ahead.
This is what happens when the Strawberry Fest comes
Yeah.
to town. So Friday night, we are gonna go see Alan Jackson on his last call tour in Orlando. Very excited.
With Zach Top opening.
With Zach Top opening.
It's the mustache show.
It is the mustache show. You know, Zach Top is Alan's son.
Yeah, according to the internet.
According to the internet or TikTok, and according to Maddie, TikTok is always right. So we're going to see Alan Jackson on Friday, and then Saturday at the Strawberry Fest, back again, we're going to see Nelly.
So we're going to have a blast. And
But he has a song called Country Grammar,
Yeah.
so it works.
if you've ever seen Nelly in person, his shows it's fun. Like
I love so
he puts
many.
on a great show, and it's high energy, and you know.
Those were my high school years.
Yeah.
It's the Country Grammar album.
Yes.
If you're with me, let me know, because that was my high school. But so definitely seeing Nelly, and then the next weekend.
Yeah, the next weekend, the next Friday, we're back at the Dallas Pool here locally with Lanco is coming into town, and they had partnered with us to give us tickets to give away. We had another 5 sets of winners that won tickets to that show.
Yep.
So we're going to be back there with all them, with Lanco for that show, and we'll have some extra special footage for that one coming. Some stuff.
Yeah, we got meet and greet for
we'll
Lanco
meet
too.
them. So we'll have that with all the people. It's going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be a
fun.
great show. And then we have very excited about this festival.
Yeah.
We're going to on the 15th. We're going to Clewiston, Florida, to their sugar festival.
It celebrates the end of their harvest season.
Right? It's a 2-day festival.
Mhm.
We're not gonna go Friday because we already had Lanco.
Yeah.
But they do like carnivals. They have train rides that
Yeah.
come.
Friday
in.
night that we're not gonna be there for, but it is Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles, and Sweet Fleet, which is a Fleetwood Mac tribute, fireworks display, kids carnival. They have a 5K that weekend. The whole town just comes together for a 2-day festival celebrating. They have I think a steam train in town they do. But we're gonna because that's the same night as our Lanco show. We're gonna be down there Saturday morning doing some coverage for them. And that show,
they're having a free concert.
yeah, keep in mind this is
on
all
Saturday.
free.
Yeah.
And it's starting out with
Lauren
Watkins, and then Hudson Westbrook, followed by Dylan Marlowe, and the headliner Jake Owen, which I'm a huge Jake Owen fan.
Oh,
Haven't
we're
got
so
to
excited to
see
see
Jake
Jake.
Live yet.
Yep.
In person for any of his shows, so really excited about that day. They've invited us down to do some stuff for them, so hopefully we'll have some special content
Excited to
that
work
day.
with them.
They've been a great organization so far.
Yeah, and it's community ran. It's
Yeah.
a community ran festival, which is really cool. And next year we're definitely gonna make sure that we hit up the full thing.
Yeah.
Go down Friday and get the full activities, because it sounds like they do a lot of really cool stuff. It reminds me, we talked about this before, reminds us a little bit of like Harvest Homecoming or something
stuff like
back
that,
in
some of the
Indiana
Friday
where
stuff, yep.
yeah, so more to come on that. I think we're gonna get some really great content for you guys to highlight that. And then we have on the 18th, this isn't really a concert per se, but we are leaving to go. We're doing a trip to Orange Beach. We do have a concert later that week.
Yeah,
at the end of the trip, we're doing a really intimate concert with Brian Kelly, formerly of Florida Georgia Line. But
their surf post there.
At their surf post there in Grayton Beach. But we are going to go ahead and head to Orange Beach and do like a little vacation on the kids' spring break. Hit up Floribama.
Yeah, we're staying directly next door to Floribama. So if anybody on the crew that we all run with knows, Floribama is the mecca of dive bars.
Yes.
If you know, in the world of music and beach and all that.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do?
We'll have tons of artists that week. Over there.
Yeah, we're gonna do a live podcast. Well, it won't be live, but we're going to do a live from Floribama. We're gonna talk about kind of what Floribama
memory
means
lane
to us. We're gonna go
Floribama.
down memory lane, talk about the great experiences we've had there, and so that'll be airing after we get back to it. So super excited about that. Wow, that was a lot.
That was. Yeah.
That was a lot.
I'm tired just thinking about it. I need a day off.
So every podcast we kind of do like a question of like to figure out to get, I guess, dig into how we process or do things.
Yeah.
And what I thought the question that we get from our people all the time is, how do you do it? Like, how do you keep up with everything? So when you think through, how do you even know what concerts are where, when? Who runs the socials? When you do the podcast, create the merch, all of that stuff. So I thought we could kind of just break it up, and that's where the theme came from, really, of teamwork. Yeah. Because I don't do this alone. Chris doesn't do it alone. The kids jump in and help out whenever they can.
Everything.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of talk through. I think the first part about keeping the concert straight. So I scour the Bands in Town app. If you don't know what Bands in Town, that's literally what it says, Bands in Town. It's an app, and you can put in where you're looking and the mileage and all that stuff, and you can see who's coming where. So a lot of times of course you can see it on social media, you can find stuff on Facebook, but a lot of times I have found a lot of things.
Before it's released.
That's how I found the Clewiston Festival. So I found it on Bands in Town. So I look at that, and then we have a shared Tampa Tailgaters calendar that we keep track of when all the concerts are, so that we know what we have when. And
some of our other counterparts outside of the four of us, John, Becky, and some of the others, have access to that just so they can keep track of it.
So they can keep track of it too.
Where they're going as well.
That's kind of how we keep the organization part of it. The other piece, real quick, just kind of goes along with that, is everyone who goes to concerts knows that acquiring the tickets is a very stressful part of it, right? When is the pre-sale? Do you have the code? What tickets do you want? Is it, who wants to sit with us? How many do we have to buy? Who's going to pay who back, right? So we talk about John and Becky a lot, but John and I are usually the ones that are in charge of purchasing and acquiring the tickets. Or I'll do it and then they'll pay us back. But we work together to try to kind of make sure that we're sitting together.
So John's Instagram page is Sounds Fun, I'm in.
Yeah.
So if that sums it up, let's do it.
He's always in for it.
You got to be careful. We can't throw ideas at each other, because before we know it, we got road trips and flights booked and something crazy going on. But that's the teamwork there. I just had it.
Yeah.
So I'm in on that.
But that's how we keep the concert straight. I think the other piece is we get asked a lot when we're seen out. They're always looking at me and Kristen like, now who's doing the socials? Yeah. Who's talking to me? Yeah.
So I can run that. As far as the Instagram is where we do most of our stuff there. All the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook that we do, YouTube, we both have access to the accounts. So you never know which one of us you're usually talking to if you're messaging us. Unless it's something that's like directed, like we'll say, hey, this is Chris or this is Jen. But a lot of times it's back and forth.
It could be either one.
And you can see it from both our phones, so there's common communication there. And we did it not only as a way to just stay on top of it, but it's also just I like it as almost like a safety net, because there's nothing, like if I'm communicating, doing anything on socials, there's nothing that my wife can't see, or vice versa. So it's just.
We actually had a situation.
Yeah, one time there was a follower, a lady who followed us. So I followed her back. Then we got a message from
Her
the
man.
husband like an hour later about like saying all kinds of stuff about following.
He was like,
and
I think it's weird.
Jen was actually answering like, so he's like, Jen said like, this is Jen. I'm like a woman that followed back. He's like, oh, okay, my bad then. And just
No, he said,
more or less.
I think it's weird that you followed my woman before me. And what was funny is he had a public account, or he had a private account, and she had a public account.
Something like that.
So like it showed that we followed her first because the request was sitting in his inbox. But anyway,
long way to say that's why we keep access.
Yeah, we keep access open. Both of us are, and most of the time, like I'm always reading, because if I don't read any communications he's having, then I'm not up to date. Or if we want to make sure that we're in constant coordination. So
and by running the socials, part of the factor is because Jen and I we're young, but we're not young, right? Like we like to think we're young.
I'm younger than you.
I know that's coming. We have two teenagers, 18 and 17-year-olds, and they, we call it our cringe factor.
Yep.
Anything, if any of us come up with an idea, a concept, or make a post or something's not sounding right, if any of the four of us are like, no, that's going to come off wrong, we don't like that, it's nixed, because we don't want to think, because we might post something we think sounds one way, and they're like, that is not the way that sounds, Dad, or whatever. So it's worked out pretty well, we think.
Yeah, I think it has. The kids are really good about telling us if we're being. I think what is it? Boomers? Is that what they call the old people now?
I don't even know the generational things of that.
Whatever. So we have the cringe factor check, and I'm going to tell you one of the things. You heard we drove 3 hours to and from Naples, right? So Chris is the driver. He's a terrible passenger. And I guess you could say I'm a passenger princess, but he does all of the driving. He's not a good passenger. He fidgets too much. He just can't relax. So I take full advantage of those car rides. And on the way home from Naples, that's when I was doing a lot of the content, uploading the videos and things like that. So I think that's one of the things that I take advantage of a lot, is just.
It works out good that way.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, TV time. When we're relaxing and we're just chilling in front of the TV, most of the time we're halfway watching something stupid and kind of just doing that. But I know one thing that helps is scheduling your posts. I think we need to do a better job of doing that. But we haven't really taken full advantage of that. But scheduling our posts will really help out. So I think that's the main part of the socials.
Yeah. The concept, the structure of those work the same across all of them.
Yeah, the creating of the merch is kind of an ad hoc thing. I do the majority of that. It doesn't need to be done all the time. Like Chris will get a wild hair, and he'll be like, I want to put this on the back of my shirt. So it doesn't take a long time. It's just a matter of doing it. So I do most of the creating of the merch. If there's a lot being done, then he'll help me weed the designs and stuff like that. But for the most part, he's not super helpful on that because he gets bored. He's doing the socials at that time.
My ADD kicks in.
His ADD kicks in, so then he starts doing social stuff. So it's not that he's not doing anything for it. He's just moving on to something else. What about networking? Who do we think does the networking?
I think most of us know that answer. We've started before. I just haven't met a stranger. So I am constantly trying to network. Is like meeting people, creating content, or contacts, and different. Some of the festivals we're working with, some of the stuff that's coming that we can't fully say everything yet. All that is just a continuous. Network, and even so, we are not in Nashville where so much goes on, but being here, we're already starting to get how much is intertwined to where you're meeting people in the industry and stuff like that. But give you a suggestion on how to do this or how to do that, and give some advice, or just working with stuff.
Talking to people at the concerts. Yeah. Chris is just really good at connecting with people. It's more of the things of like you open the door and I kind of follow you through, right? Yeah. It takes a little bit more for me to do it people are always kind of shocked by that. They're like, really? You seem, but I don't do a whole lot of the initiation. Like Chris kind of initiates the conversation. But one thing I think you do really well is you're always thinking about who can I reach out to, who can I talk to, and he'll send an email. And it never hurts to try, right?
Yeah, and about that, like I would say this, like we typically like I'm not reaching out like we're not reaching out asking for things. We're reaching out for possibilities of working together and collaborating, things like that.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
because in the sense of we're doing this for fun, but we have to build our portfolio before people are going to want us to come back and do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I'm just talking about the connection part, but I think you do a really good job with that. We already talked about the acquiring of the tickets. The one piece is technology. So, I mean, the technology is pretty easy that we deal with.
Yeah.
Sometimes Chris makes assumptions that aren't true about the technology.
I just come up with ideas and expect that it should be able to happen.
He's an idea, he orders it on Amazon, it arrives, and then he's like, figure this out. So I'm mostly the technology person just because I really like gadgets and I like having things and figuring them out. But the last piece too, real quick, is the brand new thing is the podcast where I sit down and kind of come up with the script and try to talk through and figure out what we're going to talk about, how we're going to talk about it. We both come up with ideas. Yeah. We're both brainstorming stuff together, and that's what's kind of cool is because we both have different views on it. So we're still learning with the podcast, but we're having a good time. This is our longest one. I know. I'm hoping people are sticking in.
We'll wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap it up, but yeah.
So kind of going forward with the podcast.
Wait a minute. I'm just gonna wrap up that segment. Okay. The teamwork. We really work well together. We bring the kids in when we can. Maddie likes to joke that she doesn't do anything, but that's not true. We force her to do as little. I mean, honestly, the kids, they're reaping the benefits.
That's the thing we talk about. Like, if you have to be involved if you're going to reap the benefits of the close access, the meets, how it evolves and comes. But
something. Maddie is just one of those people that people, for whatever reason, they want to do stuff for her. They gravitate towards her. And she's really good with people. She's not a people person, but she's really good with people. And Braden is...
She's the most non-people person I've ever met.
Yeah. And Braden he just likes to be in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And he's offering up ideas. So like I said, we're all in this together. It's teamwork. We have some other people outside of our family and our household that also kind of contribute. We're going to introduce you to them.
Very soon, yeah.
Very soon. So, all right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. So, we're going to continue with our style here of recapping concerts and what's ahead, but mixing into that is going to be some more special stuff. We've got some things lined up, some people to talk about, like we said before. Very soon, we're going to have Crystal King, who is...
I think that's our next episode.
Coming on to talk about her first album release.
Yep.
We've got that set up. We're going to have Maddie on.
Maddie... Reichart.
Yes. On to, I pronounced your name wrong.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing
it. To talk about her work in the industry with Sarah, her work with Whiskey Jam, and her endeavor as CEO and owner of Social Spark to really take that off and how that's going to affect her and influence the industry and stuff. So we've got that coming. We have a few more surprises lined up that too soon to tell us, but we're gonna have
still in the works.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun stuff for people to hear and really get some insider look on things. So
if you all have any suggestions or things you want to know about, let us know. I'm creating kind of the questions and the topics based off of what we get asked a lot, but definitely don't mind putting stuff out there. And again, let us know how you guys feel about posters at concerts.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that is. I'll probably put that up tomorrow. So
okay, good deal. All right. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for hanging with us for so long. We'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Thanks again.
See everybody soon.
See ya. Bye.